I don't have too much to say about this one, so I will keep the review shorter than usual. Thor Love and Thunder isn't bad, but it is a big step backward compared to Thor Ragnarok. I don't want to give away too much of the plot, so all I will say is Christian Bale plays a man named Gore, who is on a mission to kill all the gods in the universe because he holds them responsible for his personal tragedies. Gore eventually kidnaps the Asgardian children to lure Thor and Jane Foster, who now wields Mjolnir, into his domain to complete his plans. The main problem with this movie is that it is way too jokey, and most of the jokes are pretty weak. If you thought Ragnarok was too silly, you ain't seen nothing yet. The once intimidating Thor is now in clown mode 24/7, and even when he says something funny, it doesn't pack the same punch as it did in previous Thor films. Part of what made the comedy in Thor 1 and 2 work for the most part is that the very serious and menacing Thor stood in contrast to whatever silly situation he was in. For example, it was funny in the first Thor film to see the God of Thunder saying, "You think you can harm me with your puny weapon?" And then he gets tased and falls flat on his back. Or you see him in all sincerity trying to buy a horse at a local pet store. That stuff is funny. Now Thor is just another MCU goofball, constantly snickering and laughing and awkwardly mumbling, and I think there are too many goofballs in the MCU right now. The best part of the film for me was Christian Bale as Gore, but unfortunately he has too little screen time just like most other Marvel villains. He is actually the most sympathetic of the Marvel villains in my opinion, and he is also the creepiest, so not giving him more screen time and character development was a huge missed opportunity. He looked a lot like Hades from the Altered Beast video game. Welcome to your doom! Natalie Portman as Mighty Thor, or Lady Thor, was also kind of a bummer. Like Hemsworth's Thor, she is cracking way too many jokes which don't fit her character very well. It's weird because we haven't seen her in a Marvel movie in 8 years, and yet her return felt so underwhelming. There are no stand-up and cheer moments. There are some recurring jokes that kind of get old really fast. For example, there are 2 animals that are featured prominently in the movie, and it was funny the first time when they appear, but then on the 40th time, it doesn't work. The action is generic Marvel stuff. There were probably 3 jokes that I thought were really funny, and the rest were either or just straight out of the castle of ugh. The whole movie felt kind of pointless. It doesn't develop Thor as a character, and it doesn't move the MCU in any new direction. The only reason for this movie existing is to give Jane Foster a character arc, and that isn't enough to justify its existence. Today's movie quote is, "Never mess with a man who has sensitive teeth."